Has someone ever told you that you have a knot? So what is a knot? Nobody really knows. But don't leave just yet. I'm gonna share some valuable information that's gonna help you give better massages. I mainly teach couples how to massage each other at home. Most of this video is gonna pertain to that, but if you're a professional, definitely stick around. Maybe you'll learn something new as well. A more scientific term for knot is trigger points. There's not a whole lot of research in this area, and knots and trigger points are pretty misunderstood, but here's the most common theory. Let's say my hand is a muscle here. Our muscles are made up of muscle fibers, and each muscle fiber is made up of myofibril. Now the myofibril is made up of little cylinders of protein called sarcomeres. All these units work together to contract the muscle, and they can become overworked. And I'm not necessarily talking about the bodybuilder you see at the gym. I'm also talking about most of us who have poor posture and our back muscles are trying to overcorrect and correct that posture. They become overworked as well. And the little sarcomeres begin to become overstimulated, and this causes them to stay in a state of contraction. They do this in bundles, so this is where you start to feel the little nodule. These nodules can be anywhere from the size of a pin up to the size of a pea. They restrict blood flow to the area and can be very painful, so you may feel these as you massage your partner. And honestly, massage for trigger points is one of the best things you can do. Now you're probably thinking, but I have this knot in my back and it's the size of a golf ball. So let's talk about the body anatomy that gets mistaken as knots and how you can help those areas as well. Here are 4 things that get mistaken as knots, but are really just normal anatomy or a tight muscle needing to be massaged. 1. Overlapping muscles. This is especially seen in the upper back, where we have layers of muscles and they begin to overlap. That overlapping part is going to feel like a large nodule, when in reality it's just 2 muscles overlapping each other. The second is what nobody wants to hear that they have in their body, and these are fatty lumps. They're literally just what they sound like, a clump of fat that can get deposited throughout our body. These are not painful, and that's how you can tell it's not a muscle or anything that needs to be worked on, is you literally can't feel these. The third is tendon. Tendons have a lot firmer structure than muscle do, so they often get mistaken as knots or a tight muscle when really it's just a tendon. These can also be found in the upper back a lot because we have the tendons from our neck attaching, and there's just a lot going on up there. So general rule of thumb is if it's feeling good to your partner and they're feeling like it's doing something, then keep massaging the area. If they feel like it's not doing anything, then move on to the next area. The fourth is something that's also really common in the upper back, and that's why knots are mostly associated with the upper back, is because of all these reasons. But the fourth is just a tight muscle, and that's usually what's going on up here too, is it's just a tight muscle. Whether it's tight because that's just how it is, or it's tight because it needs to be relaxed, is really depends from body to body. So as you're massaging, if you feel any of those bumps or lumps, anything that's gonna be larger than a pea, it's probably not a knot, but that does not mean that it's not something that needs to be worked on. So if you find a lump and it feels like it needs to be worked on, ask your partner and ask them if it's feeling good. If it is, keep massaging it. Now, if you find a true knot or trigger point, something that's the size of a pin all the way up to a pea in their muscle, and when you press on it, it's painful, it refers pain somewhere else. For example, if there's a trigger point here, it can refer pain up the scalp. This is a true knot or a trigger point. When I find these, I like to warm up the area really nice. I use a warm towel, compression, sometimes skin rolling if my client can handle that. And then I just target the area, usually using flat fists. As soon as I feel like the area is warmed up, I start to even pinpoint even more with my thumbs. And I often just do compression with my thumbs. I'll hold 30 seconds on and then take off for 30 seconds. And then 30 more seconds and take off for 30 seconds. What this does is it gets blood flow into the area, which then causes that nodule to relax and to stop over contracting. I hope you found this video useful, and if you did, please subscribe, like, comment, and I'll see you next week.